Hey, what's up? I wanted to give you a little behind the scenes look at what it takes to make a smart home solver video. I get a lot of questions about things that I show in the background of shots. So I'm just gonna give you a little tour around and show you everything that I'm using. All right, starting off first here with the pegboard because I've been getting a lot of questions about it lately. And I love this thing because it's very high quality. So this pegboard is solid metal, very sturdy. And you can stick magnets on it, like I have this little IKEA remote just right there. And they also have these little slots for the hooks to lock into place. So if you've ever used pegboards before, you know that when you lift something off, the little pieces can go flying. But this, they don't really come off. So you don't have to be that careful when you're lifting things off the hooks or the shelves or whatever. Everything is extremely sturdy. And I got these off Amazon. They come in a bunch of different colors. And I think it's a great option if you're looking for pegboards in a garage or wherever. So up here, we have a Game Boy Pocket mounted in a picture frame. A company actually does this, and it's not just a picture. It's an actual old Game Boy Pocket that's been kind of repurposed and mounted in here. And I think it looks amazing. On the pegboards, I have a bunch of camera gear, which is nice because it's so accessible. I can just grab stuff off whatever I need. It's just right here. I don't have to go digging through a closet or anything like that. All the lenses I'll put up on the screen right now, the ones that I'm using. Down below, we have this little shelf thing that's from IKEA. It's actually made out of metal, so it's pretty solid. DJI wireless mics that I use all the time. These things are awesome. Bunch of batteries, everything's nice and charged up. So whenever I need to get filming something, I know all the batteries are ready to go. I can just grab one. So the main camera that I use is the Sony a7 IV. And I have this thing rigged out with a monitor on top and a V-mount batteries to power everything. And I love this camera because the sensor on this is a 7K 33 megapixel sensor that's downsampled to 4K, but it stays extremely sharp. And I also love that it has this focus map option. So you can just see what is in focus. Everything is clear on the screen and everything that's red is too close and blue is too far away. So I know if I nailed focus and I don't have to worry about when I go to edit that, oh crap, I missed focus. I'm gonna have to reshoot that. So saves me a lot of time. Plus the monitor up top, make sure that everything is looking good. So this is where I do the A-roll or talking head. You've probably seen this angle before. And I used to have this whole setup on wheels and that you could just wheel around the room and shoot different angles, but it was taking so long to set up and take down. Now everything's in a more permanent spot and I can get set up in like 2 minutes. So it's way more efficient. So let me show you what I have going on for the setup. For the light, I have the Aperture Amaran 100D. It's their budget version, works great. A light dome for a softbox to diffuse the light. The microphone is an Audio-Technica, and that has an XLR cable running into this Zoom F6, and that records 32-bit audio. If you know what that is, it's pretty awesome. You never can peak with the audio, so no matter how loud or soft I talk, it'll always sound good. And then right here, I have the camera mounted on a tripod with a little mount for my phone because I keep all the notes for the video so I remember what to say. I don't use a teleprompter. Then off to the left, I use a monitor. It's just a cheap LG one to make sure everything's in focus and just to make sure I don't have any like food on my shirt or something like that. So yeah, that's what I see when I make videos. I stare into that camera lens. Then everything is mounted to the C-stand, and I got it cheap off Amazon, but it gets the job done. So this is what you kind of see in the background of the A-roll shots. Over here is the acoustic panels. I have about 9 of them in here. I built these myself. They use rock wool inside for insulation to help with the echo, and they do a really good job. I get a lot of questions about this. This is the IKEA Sonos lamp. The sound is amazing. But the light bulb inside is a LIFX candle bulb, and it can do multiple colors at once. Over here, we have some LIFX bulbs, and I'm not a huge LIFX fan anymore because of the reliability, but they look really good on camera because they don't flicker. Some Govee light strips up here. You probably saw recently the Everything Presence 1 that runs all the automations when I walk in the room and make sure it keeps the lights on, but turns them off when I leave. Down here, we have the floating light bulb, and it actually turns on. So that's pretty sweet because there's literally nothing touching the bulb. It's just floating. Over here we have the Mr. Sake mug, and I feel like this room wouldn't be complete without it. All right, when it comes to the B-roll, which is basically all of the shots of me not talking to the camera, there's 3 things that I pretty much have to have. One is a workbench like this on wheels. And so I can move it around the room, put stuff on top of it, and film it with a bunch of different angles. And that's made life so much easier because it's really easy to get a bunch of different shots and make it look interesting. So this thing I think is a must-have. The other is a tripod with a really good fluid head. I have a Manfrotto one that is an actual fluid head. There's a lot of fake ones out there, and it gives really smooth pan and tilts. You see those a lot in B-roll shots. And lastly is some really good lighting. And this is a Falcon Eyes LED light panel. It doesn't take up a whole lot of space. It's a little pricey, but it gives a really nice soft light. And the other one I use is a little bit smaller and cheaper, and that's what I'm using to light myself right here. And if you're wondering how I'm actually filming this video, I'm filming it on a Sony a7C on a monopod. So now when it comes to overhead shots, I used to set it up and take it down every single time, and it was such a time suck, and it never really looked quite as good as I wanted it to. But now I have a permanent setup, and it's so much easier. So the way I have everything set up, I have 2 lights on each side with an A6400 mounted to a C-stand that has sandbags on the bottom so it doesn't tip over. And then I have a monitor off to the side so you can see what is being shot, making sure everything's in focus, and the lighting, it just looks amazing. So once I get all the footage that I need, I bring it over here to the desk where I edit all of my videos. The desk that I'm using is the Foley Jarvis standing desk, and I've had this thing for years. It's been super solid. It's never given me any issues. Up here, we have the Yamaha 7-inch speakers, and those are on a little piece of foam pointed straight at my ears. These things sound amazing. They're super clear, very accurate. I use it to edit the audio and the videos. They are on a little stand that clamps to the side of the desk. A lot of people ask about those. Those stands work perfect. And those speakers are plugged into this Focusrite audio device where they just plug right back in here, and you can adjust the volume. And you can also plug in some XLR microphones right here in the front and record audio to your computer. Then this thing plugs in from USB-C to the computer, but it's going into a USB-C dock. It's the CalDigit. This thing's been a tank. I've used it for a few years. That plugs into this MacBook Pro 16-inch M1 Pro version. This handles editing so well. I do everything in Final Cut Pro. Over here, I have this little 3D printed cube that I made in a video a little while back. I have some Casa light strips in here, but they've been kind of wigging out on me, so kind of disappointed in that. I'm gonna have to switch them out. A Google display. I love the Google displays. They don't show me any ads. Love them. Then up above, I have some IKEA roller shades that are pretty inexpensive and work really well. All right, that about does it for the studio tour. I'll link everything down in the description, but if you have any questions, let me know down in the comments. And if there's anything more you want to see a deeper dive into, then let me know as well and I can do a follow-up video. Thanks for watching.